Well, we are back on the trail. And boy, has it been fun. We had the last 3 days, or 4 days actually, have been wow. We got back on the trail at Pinkham Notch, and the first mountain range we were climbing is called the Wildcat Range, and then the Carter Range, and then Moriah Mountain the next day. We knew it would take us 3 days to do it because, we were just getting back off the trail. Getting back onto the trail because we had to be off of it for a while. And after 10 days of resting our legs, there are no mountains in Austin to practice on while we're not out here. So after about 10 days of resting our legs, the Wildcat range of mountains was probably one of the hardest places we could have started again, aside from the presidentials, which we did right before that. It was so steep at the beginning of it. It was, as a matter of fact, you'll see on the video that the second mile that we did that morning, the lady at the ranger station at Pinkham Notch told us that is the highest, the steepest mile on the AT, and I believe it. It was very steep. There were a couple places that George had to take my backpack so that I could climb it up. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to. It was so steep, and we were like wedging ourselves up through, between two rocks to climb upward. It was crazy. And there was the other place where I was climbing up, and it was like a bald rock I was climbing, and there were toe holds, but they were too tall for me to reach with my short legs. So again, George took my backpack, and I had to just figure out ways to do it. Whereas in some ways that's pretty cool because I did things that were really impossible for me to do. And I know that I had to stop and pray a lot when I got to those places because I didn't think it was possible for me to do them. And I was just thinking, why would God put me out on this trail if I can't do this? And it really felt like I couldn't. But as I went through it, I just stayed as trusting as I could, and I obviously went through all of it and made it. So that's cool. And then the rest of that whole 3 days was hard. There wasn't, not until yesterday afternoon at the end of the day did the trail stop being just full of places that were treacherous. Not like those two on the Wildcats, but still, we were jumping down 4 feet at a time. And a lot of times we were having to sit down on the rocks and slide down, or turn ourselves around and back down. It was, and hang on to roots to get down off of these cliffs, basically. You wouldn't think a 4 foot or 5 foot or 6 foot cliff would be that big of a deal, but when you got a backpack on your back, it kind of is. So anyway, it was a challenge, and wow, am I tired. But this morning we got up and we were able to get a ride from a trailhead that was only 2 miles from our camp and come into Gorham. We resupplied. We got all that we need to hike for 6 or 7 more days, and then we'll take off from here. I know there's going to be a few places, some of the hardest parts. The hardest mile on the trail is coming up. That's Mahoosuc Notch. It's Mahoosuc. I said the Mahoosuc. Okay, Mahoosuc Notch, and then right after that is Mahoosuc Arm, which is another hard part. Right after it, not like the hardest. But anyway, all these things we have to look forward to. But man, we're really blessed. We're able to call our friend Bruce now again and he brought us into Gorham, and he is hang on just a second. I want to just in case anybody who's ever out on the trail again wants to ever call this guy is great. And He used to be a thru hiker. Looks like his trail name was Golden Waldo, and that's kind of cool. And he charges what it costs him in gasoline. He's the one who drove us from here all the way 2 hours away to Portland, Maine, to put us on an airplane, and then he picked us up and brought us back, and he charged us $50 each way, which I gotta tell you what, I hope that covered his gasoline. We made sure we gave him enough to cover his gasoline. But I mean, and then some. But that's just, he's just so blessed to help people, which I know God loves that about people when they want to help people. So anyway, that was a good thing. And then he lives here only in the summer, so he has an RV site at this campsite where the hostel we wanted to stay in was full. The other hostel and bed and breakfast in town was full. The motels were an outrageous price. And he's like, hey, I think there's some openings at this campsite where I park my RV every year. And they got really great rates. And we're staying in a cabin. I mean, it's a camping cabin, so there's not any bedding on the linens on the bedding, but we have our sleeping bags and our sleeping bag liners, so we'll just use those. But it's really a nice place. Hang on, I'm gonna come out here, and I'll turn the camera around so you can see it, because it's pretty neat. So that's part of the campground. You see it has tent sites also, but we didn't want to pitch another tent. And it's just a nice little cabin like you might see at a little KOA campsite. It has a picnic table and a grill, and while we were at Walmart resupplying, we got us a couple of steaks that George is gonna grill over there tonight. Hopefully it'll stop raining long enough for him to do that. It's just sprinkling, but you know what? If it's gonna rain and sprinkle, I'm glad it's today when we're not hiking. And because for the last 3 days it was supposed to rain. It was supposed to rain all 3 of the days that we were out there. And I gotta tell you, those rocks and stuff that we were climbing and all those cliffs and everything, if it had been raining, it would have been a million times as hard. So it didn't rain all that time, and here we are under this shelter, and now it rains. And you know, sometimes people just get blessed like that. But anyway, I do have a video showing you some of the things that we went through in the past couple of days. So hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we are back on the trail again, finally. We're starting off at Pink and Notches, which is where we got picked up last week. There's a visitor center, and we're gonna be climbing up the Wildcat Mountains this morning. So, it's supposed to be a pretty tough climb. Do some all 4 limbs necessary kind of climbing, hands and feet. It is the steepest mile on the AT. We'll do a mile first of pretty flat land, and then we'll have that one really steep mile, which has a lot of climbing involved in it, and it is the steepest mile on the AT. So we'll get through that, and then we'll see what happens as we go. As you can see, it's weathery. We've got some fog, and it was sprinkling earlier, so I got on my rain jacket. We've got our pack covers covering our backpacks. You can see Renegade has his rain jacket over the top of his backpack in case he wants to put it on. So yeah, back on the trail, and looking forward to a really good day today. Okay, here we go. We're going to start on the trail up Wildcat Mountain. This is the steepest mile on the trail. So here we go. Go. said he's going to go up there and take his pack off and come back and take my pack. But there's a lot more. So I'm just going to go up with my pack on.
I wish we had some knee pads, huh?
Shh. I'm in such a state right now. Can't deal with jokes. I'm sorry. I don't have any place to go.
Okay, hold on.
Terrified. Oh, help me not be terrified. Yeah.
Well, you did it.
Okay, good morning. Yesterday was really steep. We got to the peak of the Wildcat Mountains. Both of them, there's two on the trail. There's actually four, but the trail only covers two of the peaks of the Wildcats. And we got to the second one last night and pitched a tent. Didn't get nearly as many miles as we thought we would. We thought actually that we would get down to there, but it was getting late and we didn't want to we have to climb to that hill right there. We didn't want to go down that steep of a hill if it was starting to get dark, which it might have been, it might not have, but we didn't want to risk it. So we went ahead and camped up here and only did 5 miles. But man, when they said that was the steepest mile on the AT, they were not kidding. And there were some places there that were very difficult to traverse. And I don't get scared very often out here on this trail like that. But there's a couple places where I was wondering what the heck I was doing out here. But we made it all the way up to the top, and that's supposed to be the very worst of New Hampshire over. I don't know about that descent. Some people say that it's a lot of easy steps down and it's not as difficult as it looks. We'll see. Anyway, when we get down there, we'll stop down to the huts down there. We'll stop and get some water, and then hopefully we'll make a lot more miles today than what we've been making, because it's supposed to be a little bit more trail-like instead of bouldering, so we'll see. If I see anything pretty, I'll take some pictures and surely show it to you. We're at the peak of Mount Height. It has a 360-degree view, and it is lovely. And yeah, it's our third peak today. It's a good day. It's cool and nice. Pretty decent morning. Got a nice view from this first view spot coming up Mount Moriah. Mount Moriah is the only mountain we're going to climb today, but it's a big one, so yeah, I mean, you know, we'll be climbing for a couple hours. And I mean, it's been really hard since we got back on the trail after taking that time off. The first day we were out, we had to do Wildcat Trail, which was ridiculously slow. We did 5 miles. We had planned on doing 6, so we came up a mile short than what we thought. And then yesterday we thought we would do 8 miles, and we ended up stealth camping after 7 miles. So today we're really hoping that the 7 miles that we planned to get to the next shelter we'll get to, because I really would like to stay in a shelter tonight instead of in our tent. We'll do the best we can. Looks like a pretty decent day so far. We've done about almost 2 miles, just a tenth short of 2 miles. And we're, you know, not going that fast yet. So hopefully we'll be able to speed up somewhat. All of the really difficult ups and downs, I think we finished. So we'll see how it goes. It's bound to be lots of pretty shots today of the views of the mountains. So if I see anything else that I like, I'll take a picture of that too. Okay, this is where we expected to arrive today. This is the first day in 3 days that we've made our goal for the day. So I'm happy to be here. I could use a good rest. Several hours now before we have to go to bed, so I'll probably go to bed early. Whew. Last night was a tough one. So, getting some good sleep tonight. Okay, so yesterday was much better than the previous 2 days had been. And what are you doing, George? I'm gonna film that. Oh, okay. I'm washing your face. Okay. It's beautiful here. We've hiked a little over a mile already this morning. Last night we got a pretty decent night's sleep. We have to get a package from the post office in Gorham, which is less than a mile ahead now. And we're going to go ahead and resupply while we're in town, and maybe wash our clothes and take a shower somewhere if we can. If we can find a place to stay overnight, we'll stay overnight in Gorham, and then get back on the trail again tomorrow. There. Now you're all clean. And yeah, groom the mustache. I like that. So yeah, it's a good day today. It's amazing how much better you feel when you get a good night's sleep and have had a nice evening to relax after a hike. So yeah, today should be just super easy, and maybe I'll even get a video up tonight, or maybe I'll wait till my full zero. I don't know. Anyway, it's a beautiful day today, and we're glad to be out here. So that was the last 4 days of hiking, 3 days. Today was the 4th day, but we only did 2 miles. So, and they were real easy 2 miles, so that was great. And we start back tomorrow morning, first thing. And we'll probably be hiking at least a week before we get off the trail again for a day. So we might have to stop in a town just to get a little bit of resupply, because we might not have quite enough to go 7 days. Or maybe we'll just stretch our food, whatever we need to do. Either way, so it'll probably be over a week before I put up the next video. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Definitely keep the prayers coming. Every time we think of you, we pray for you too. So, see you next time.